Hi everyone, welcome to Harsha Trainings. So today I have come up with video on interfaces. The first move on to how to display the information in read-only grid. And next one, so how to creating text fields and drop downs. And next one, how to creating a functions. In these functions, index and for each and so on. Let us move on to session.
All right, so um, today we are going to create a new screen, right, where we need to display this list of items that we have available, right? So suppose uh, in the process of our application, the thing is that what we wanted to do is we have some items available in our database, and we want to display those items to the users on screen where they can see and they can uh, you know uh, apply for those items, right? So let's go and quickly start on creating a new screen. So we'll go and we'll say we'll create a new interface, all right, and then we'll name it as display available inventories. Okay, so this rule is used to display the inventories in okay. So what we are going to do, we are going to display the list of the inventories in a read-only grid format. So what is a grid format basically? The grid is basically the table form. You know, when you want to display the data in your tabular form, that is in Appian is called grid. And we say save into IMS in interface rule. Okay, let's create. All right, so guys, this is new thing that you are going to see here. So why we say Appian is a low code, right? It's a drag and drop. Okay, so we don't have to actually, write a code for the interface. All right, we can quickly drag and drop the objects and we can do the things here. Okay, so first of all, we are going to display the grid, right? So let's start with some um, columns layout. So what's the columns layout? Let me also some interface. Okay, so let's talk about this is think about this is an entire screen. All right, this is entire screen and how you want to define divide your screen into multiple things. So sorry. So this entire screen, let's assume this is your entire screen. Okay, and then um, we can divide our screen into multiple sections. So let's say this is one section. Okay, this is a one section. This is another. Likewise, this everything is having different sections. Okay, we divided it into one section. All right. No. So suppose we have divided this. This we can say is as a one section, section one. Okay. This we can say section two, and this entirely I can say section three. Okay. And now in within this section we can divide. It's a columns, entire one column. All right. For one row, we can define as one row. Row we can define with the columns layout. All right. And within the columns layout, we can divide multiple columns using column layout. So there's a difference, guys. Okay. You see the entirely for one entire row, we are seeing columns layout. Okay. And for column, we are saying column layout. Now, suppose in this section, the first section, I want to have only three columns. So this is the one column, okay. This is another column, and this is another column, 3 columns, okay. So I'll just give the color as yellow, blue, say this, okay. So this is how it has happened. I mean, in the screen, I have divided in one section, I have divided my column into 3. But the second one, I just wanted to have only 2 columns, okay. This is one column, and this is the 2 columns. So this is also how you can define your screen, right? So let's go and quickly do that. So first of all, we are going to take a section. So I'll drag the section from here, and then we can say section. Okay, one more thing. So this is what, I mean, you can design a screen on based on your requirement. But here it has also given some of the templates, right? Suppose if you want to design a form, you just drag it and just click it here, and it will give you some code of the basic form, just like the way it is displaying here. Okay, this is how we can do that. Now, if you want to have something called in this structure like pages, like 3 columns, you see, select click on 3 columns, and you will be able to see the 3 columns of the design. Okay, so it also has given you some of the available, if you want to have some information. I mean, if you don't think of what the design you can think, so you can select the design from here as well. But as we want to learn how to design the screen, so we can go here and we can say, let's select a section. So we click the section and drag it here, drop it. So one section is done. Within this section layout, I want to have one columns layout. So I just select the one columns and then drop it here. So one column is defined. But as of now, we are going to display only the grid, right? The grid, for that's a tabular format. So there is a one restriction, like you cannot use a section within a section. Like if you go to this example, like suppose this is a section layout, inside the section layout code you cannot use another section layout code, right? So that's the thing. That is how we design our screen, but there are some restrictions as well. Okay, so now this is the column layout, and I want to have one more column as we discussed. I mean, define the Excel sheet. So let's put it here. So you see there are 3 columns in the first row has 3 columns. I remove the second one from the between, so you can have 2 columns in second row. Let's have you can have third column. So drop it here. Come on, yeah. So 3 columns are there. If you want to have one more here, so just add it. So it will have 4 columns. Okay. So this is how you can also design your screen. But now we only want to display the grid, right? So we don't want all these things. So what we can do, if you go to the expression mode, it will show you the code that has been designed already for you. So I just want to have a grid layout, right? So we don't want those sections. I just show you for learning purpose. So let's go, and we want to display the grid. So we'll say grid. It's a read-only grid. So we drag it and drop it here. Okay. And then if you go to your left-hand side panel, right, it says from where you want to display the information. So if you want, you can write your own query. If you want, you can select the data source as well. So suppose if I say select our query, okay, but we already have created one query, right? So if you let's go there so you can understand. So this is the query that we have here. I can say I want to make this rule as a dynamic. So we created the query last time, right? Get inventory. Yes, we have it. If you don't pass anything, it should be return me the entire result. Yes, cool. So we create a rule input. that is a variable that we have, and we give the name as inventories. And what should be the type of this inventory? It should be the IMS inventory, and it should be multiple, right? We say create. So now if you go to the test, and what we do, we call this rule here. Just like, I mean, we need to have this information available. We call this rule here, and we'll pass some of the parameters called what are the things we have? We have item name. It requires at least one parameter. I'll say null. All right, so we have these 7 items. Value. Okay. I am calling this rule just to display the information on the screen. Otherwise, this will not reflect anything on the code. Okay. Okay. So data. So data will be RI inventories. Okay. Now we have the data for this grid. Now let's design the columns, and we will give the name as AVAI. Okay, available inventories, and then let's design the column. So we'll say column A bang grid column, and we'll say label. Label will be item name. Okay, and then as soon as I giving the name of this label, you see it started displaying here item name, and then it has also called value parameter. So value will be FV row dot item name. So this is the name of this our CDT parameter, right? If you remember, so we have designed this CDT parameter. If you go to here, it's item name. All right. Now, so likewise, we need to display one more column. So just copy this code, paste, and it will be item description. Okay, and what's the parameter name of this CDT? Item description. Just copy this. All right, and then let's copy. Yeah.
Ravi, I have one question. What is FB Bangalore dot
Okay,
item?
yeah, yes, I was about to tell you. So FB row, right? So Appian, there are certain Appian functions which has their inbuilt variables. All right. So FB row is an inbuilt variable for this grid function. Okay, so what happened initially? We had to do some workaround, and we had to use some index function to, to display the information one by one. But later stage in the newly versions of Appian, they have defined this FB row as an internal variable of this grid field. So it iterate within itself and then display the informations for each row, for each data available within that variable. So here we have 7 data, right? So it's automatically and fetching the 7 records, and one by one it is displaying it. So this FB row is an inbuilt variable of grid field function. Okay.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Okay. Yeah. So now we have item description, and then what else we have? Item quantity, item price, right? So we'll see item quantity. All right. So now we should have third column. Yes. And then we have item price. Okay. Item type. Okay, let's bring this item type after the description. That makes it makes sense. Okay, so this is how we can design our interface for grid interface to display the items in the tabular format. So this is the item that is available within the system. Okay, so this is a grid. Why I have created a separate interface, and passes this through the rule input, because by doing so we can reuse this interface everywhere we want. Okay, so now let's ask questions for this grid, how to display the data in the grid, and any question, any doubt.
Please explain the interface letter. There is so many layout.
Mm-hmm.
Please
Yeah, there are
explain.
so many layouts. Yeah, there are
Yeah.
so many layouts. We will see one by one, Neeraj. But
Okay.
yeah, we'll don't worry, we will see all of them. So here, if you have any questions, yeah.
Ravi, you given in some inventories you have imported, right? Is that created before or it is in default in there? Like suppose you imported the item in description, item quantity. Are they created before?
So I'm not sure if you have gone through the video, but we created one
Actually,
table.
okay. Is this class complete? I mean, I actually Friday only I joined one class. Before that, I mean Saturday I joined one class. Saturday.
Mhm. Yeah,
After
there
that
was
I
one
did.
more class happen for this thing. So I requested them to share the video. I guess you have not received that.
I didn't receive. I received the demo one. I mean, in that it is not displayed about this one. I will check with the team. Actually,
Okay,
I
please.
received another one like some demo session, but in that one
Uh-huh.
I'm not seeing
No,
this
you in the
thing.
demo session it's not there. After demo, there was one more session happen on 5th of May. So
Uh, I
you
didn't
can
receive
ask for
that one.
that day recording.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Got it. That's the
So
missing. Yeah.
in
That is why I mean I am little confused. That okay.
okay,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. So that's 5th of May. Okay. So this is the table that we created and we inserted some of the value. Okay.
Okay.
And this is the person we are getting it here. So we created this query entity. This query entity rule is used to pull the data from the table, and then using this rule, we are getting the data and we are displaying it into the interface. So right now, where you are getting, because we have passed that query entity rule here in a test, and then we can see this information. Okay, so this is the grid that we
Okay.
have. Okay, so that we need to display the information. Now let's design on a screen where the first thing that user wants to see what are the items are available, and then they want to place some order. All right, so let's design some order screen. So in order screen, what should be there, right? It should be something like um, how many items we want and what items we want. All right, okay, so let's go and design a new screen. We'll say IMS place order screen. This interface will be used to not place order, um, select items for order, select the items for inventory order. Okay, and then say create. Now here let's go to the design mode first of all, and then we'll say um, we'll take a section layout. No, section, I will take a column layout. Okay, in that column layout, in this let's put it three columns, and then let's have one text field. No, not text field. Let's have some drop down, right? Because I want to give this drop down to the user where they can go and select the item. drop down, and then we can have one, this one, we can display one description. Oh, this is we can have called quantity. So for quantity, we can have integer field. All right, and then let's have one more column, and here we'll say text field. This text field will be read only for item price, and this text field will be read only for total price. Okay, makes sense? And then here I can change the name. So this is the, let's click on this one. So as soon as we can click on this one, it'll say drop down. I can change it to the item name, item price per unit. Okay, no, sorry, it's a quantity, right? That is very sorry, it's quantity. Quantity. This is going to be item price per unit, and this should be read only. Okay, so we can change it read only. All right, and then we have the next field, which is called total price. Okay, and this is also going to be read only. All right, so this is a screen that it looks like, whenever you place some order. So let's go here in the execution mode, and then we'll see the code is ready for us. Okay, so now you see this, the drop down is by default saying option 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right? This all things here, but we need the actual item names here. All right, so what we can do, same way we can create a rule input. We'll say available items or inventories. This will be going of type IMS underscore inventory. Why I'm creating rule inputs for all the places? Because these all are going to be sub rule. If we execute this query entity everywhere, it will increase the forms, bandwidth, and then it will make your screen very slow. So we are trying to achieve here, like, we will only call one place and we'll pass that information everywhere. We say create. All right, so now we have all the items available. So what we need to do is we'll create a local variable function. So we are going to see the local variable function, and everything, whatever you have the code, that will go inside this local variable function. So I just cut it and paste it here. All right, now let's design one local variable. So we'll say local item list. Okay, now we are going to see some good functions that we will be using all the time in your Appian development skills. Okay, so we have a function called index. Okay, before going here, let me showcase to you how this index function works. We'll go to the test rule. I'll say test rule. Okay, so let's say we have a local variable function declared here, and in this local variable, I have some array called array1. Okay, and then I am going to define this array as, it's going to be a multiple array. So I have ID is 1, name is equal to okay, and then we have, this is like 4 list of items. Okay. Now suppose this is the data that we have in our system. I want to know what is the data available at index 3. Okay. I want to fetch only the data that is available on index 3. So what function we need to use is called index. Okay, so index function, and we will pass, it has 3 parameters, so we will pass the data. So data is available within the local array 1. Come on. And then we want to pass the index 3, and then the default parameter is called array, because we are returning the array. If all, we can pass as null as well. If nothing is matching, then pass the null. So anyone can suggest what will be the output?
Name index index 3 and ID 3 and name Shivam and email ID shivam@gmail.com.
Correct. So it is returning the data which is available at index 3. Okay. So this is what we are getting. Now there is one more use of index function. So this is one of them. Let me comment this. Now if I want to know, I'll pass the array, and I want to know what are the names are available within the system for this data. I want to pass the name. Now anyone tell me what will be the output? What can be the output?
Only one name will come. Only one name will come.
Any more answers? Anyone else want to give a try?
Names of all Ravi Mohan.
So we have not passed any index, right? We are just trying to get from the local array the list of the names. So it will give all the names available for this one. All right. Now, can anyone help me to get the data called? I want to name Mohan only. How can I get this? I just need to have the name Mohan as an my output. How can I do that?
Name of index 0 to 1.
Hmm?
Name equals to Mohan.
Yeah, that's my output. I want to get it using
Okay.
this function. How do I get it?
Only name or all the
Yes,
details
only name.
ID.
No, only
uh,
name.
Name of 1, a local array 1 and a comma name of 1.
Okay.
Uh,
Now, if I use this index, so and will pass is 2, what I will get? Second index of data, and the top of that, this function. If I do one more index, all right, and this is my data. I'll just say comma, and then I need to have the name, and then I put as null. I just combined these two index in one, right? So output of this index is what? This array, and I consider this output as my input for this another index function, and then I'm getting the name. If I go in the test rule, I'll just get the more. Got it?
yeah.
Any doubt?
No.
Cool. Now this is what, like, I want to know the name at this index. What is the value? Now think, you know the value. For example, you know the name as Shivam, but you don't, and you want to get the email ID by using the name, right? How do you get it? So first of all, you have to find where the Shivam is, right? You cannot go and count the index and tell that okay, Shivam is available in the third index. For that, we need system has to calculate. All right. So for that, we have a function called where contains. Okay, so this where contains function require two parameters, value and array. What is the value I want to find? I want to find Shivam, right? And where it I want to find, we want to find in this array. Sorry, 1 second, guys. So we want to find this name Shivam within this array, right? And within this array also, which parameter we have to look for? We have to look for the name parameter, right? So how do, what you tell me, what I need to write it here, which will give me the list of the name.
Array 1, local array 1.
If I put local array 1, it will give me the entire data, right?
Yeah.
I want to find this name within this entire data and also within the name parameter, right?
Oh,
So what, if you guys remember, what was the output of this function, this code?
names of all, list of all the names in the text.
List of all the names, right? So we just pass it here, right? So if you pass all this name here, then what it's trying to do, we are trying to find this name Shivam within this list. Now if we execute this, it will throw an error. Why it is showing an error? Why? Because this is the type of text and this is the returning the list of type of text, right? So what need to do is we need to do it a match. So we will use one function called toUniformString. Okay, and this also we will match the toUniformString. So now by doing this, what happened, it will, the type mismatch will be gone. And then if I execute, so what you tell me what I'll get here if I execute?
Shivam.
Think. Shivam, we are finding it, right? We are finding Shivam and we are finding within this array.
Okay.
So what it will give the output? Just do the guesses, no worries. Okay, so it will give the index of that name. So it will give you 2. Oh, 3, because Shivam at 3, 1, 2, and 3. All right. Now using this code, I know where the name Shivam is available in this array, right? So this is index code. I mean that we are getting the index, right? So if you see this value, right, here we are passing this hard coded 3, but we now get it from the using the name. Okay, I want to know the index of this Shivam, where it is available. Now it is available at index 3. Get it? So what are the parameters of the index? The first parameter of index is that the array, the data. So data is local array 1. Okay, local array 1, right? And second parameter is the index. So instead of typing hard coded it, we can put this code because this is also returning me any index, right? And then default parameter is null, right? Tell me what will be the output of this now. Any guesses, guys? It's very simple. We have already seen this. So if you put 3 here directly, what I was getting? This is the simple, the same thing, right? Index, data, 3, and then default parameters. Index, this is the data, this is the in what at what index, and then null parameter, the default. So here instead of hard coding, we are calculating it based on the name Shivam. So if I click on test rule now, we'll get the result of this third index of data, right? Now I want to get the email. So what we will do, we will create one more index at the top of it. All right, of this index, this is going to be my data, and then we will pass the required parameter that is called email, and then default parameter is null, and close this index. Okay, now if I execute this, I'll get only the email of this particular user. This is what is the use of index function in every form, and this is what you guys are going to use a lot of time. So, and make sure you understand this. Okay, so ask me any question if you have.
No question.
Okay, then I will ask some questions and sometimes. Anyone else? Any confusion, any doubt?
No, Kiran. Sorry, no, Ravi.
Okay. Okay, so why I have gone all these things, because we will be needing this index function now here. Okay. So I want to display the item list, right? Item list is nothing but the going to be a name of those items, right? And these are the items that I have. Let me type the query entity here. So rule bang ims underscore get. What is that name? Query ims underscore query inventory, and then I'll say item name is equal to null. So I need to have entire list. So this is how our information is displayed, right? Item name, item description, quantity, and all. So this information we have it. I want to display the list of the item name in my drop down. Okay, so for which I need the name of those items. So you tell me what should I type here to get that list of those items. Make a try, give a try, guys.
Rule input.
So first of all, we need an index, right? Index function. And what is the data? Data is going to be a rule input, ri, inventories. And what's the parameter name? What thing I want? I want item name, right? All the item name, and then default parameter is null. Okay, got it? So now I copy this item list, this local item list, and in the choice label, we will pass the item list. Okay, getting it? So I'm selecting this item list and then passing it to the choice label. So for each choice label, there will be one choice value, right? So we'll say local item IDs, because whenever I select an item, I need to capture their IDs instead of direct value. All right, so we'll say index ri inventories, comma, what I need to get? I need to get ID. Is that ID or something else? The parameter name ID. Okay, and then default parameter. And then I will into the choice value, I will pass local item IDs. Okay, using the comma. Click on test. Now you see, if I select go to the drop down, I am getting the name of those items. All right. So there's two pens. So let's put some description here. So it will be, you know, but otherwise user will get confused. So what we can do? Okay, we'll see that. So this is how this drop down. So let's go to the drop down field. So drop down field has few parameters which we will be using. So we have the label name. So label name, it means what is the name of the field you want to put. This is common for each and every field. Okay. Label position. So here you can see the name is coming as top of the field, right? So it's above. So if you make as adjacent, it will start coming before the field. Placeholder. So now if you say select a value, I want to change it, select an item. All right, now it will get changed, select an item. Choice labels, what are the list of items you want to display on the drop down? Okay. Choice values, once you select those particular items, what value it will capture in the backend. Now save into, and we also have one more parameter called value that we will be needing it, and then all these things. So it's not, this thing is not required as of now, so we'll just remove it. Okay. So first of all, any doubt in these two things, how we are displaying the list of items available and then IDs, then we'll proceed further. Yes.
Ravi, in item name, I mean, we are seeing the duplicate set. Is the database is having the duplicate
No,
values,
yeah,
or it
yes,
is
yes.
getting?
There are duplicates in database. It's not duplicate. Basically, it has pen. It's a blue color, and its pen it's a black.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, yeah.
So let me put one more column there, so it will be easy. So that is going to be item type, right? So let's go and then design one more column here, item type. So once you click on that, this can see it. Okay. Item name. It's going to be a text field. Copy this column layout, and before the quantity, I will just paste it and say type. All right, and okay, we'll see how to display all those information. Fine. Okay, so any question till here now, guys?
Every interface we can create local variable, a bank local variable.
Yes, 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 yes.
Choose
Everywhere
that.
in the interface expression, everywhere you can create it.
Okay.
So I guess there's no doubt till here, right?
No
Cool.
doubt.
All right. Okay, now let's go to the next field. Okay, first of all, we haven't completed this drop down. Now we can design one variable called local selected item. Okay, this is a local variable called local selected item. So whenever you click on this list, like suppose I want to select pen, I should be saving it somewhere, right? Right now you see it's not displaying whatever we are selecting is going. So we say whenever you select this, please save that value into local selected item. All right, now if you drag this panel here, the variable panel, and I'll say copy, so it says 3. Now I say pencil, it says 5, right? Why? Because in database, if you go to the database, for this copy it's 3, for this pencil is 5. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's have some a good interface, because it's very confusing for the users. I don't need this type thing, because if I do that, I don't require this type. So this is the item that we have it, right? This is the item list, we have it. Let's design one more item called final item list. Okay, now what we will do in this for final item list is that, let's move here and see one more use of this some of the function. So you guys are clear about this index, right? No issues, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now we have one more interesting function called for each. That is a looping function, and you guys will need it for you will be needing in the entire life cycle for that. So we have this called for each. So what this for each do? Basically, it iterates the items and then it gives the and do the operation on those items and return to you. Now, for suppose example, it has two parameters. One is called items. In the item, suppose I am passing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And in the expression, so if you remember, just like the way in the grid field, we have the inbuilt variable called fb row, right? This is an inbuilt variable for this grid field. Similarly, for each, we have called fb item. Okay, these all are the inbuilt variable. So we have fb item in each fb item, and if you're going to display, so what it will do, it will just display the number that it have for each. It's iterate the list, so it will address 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now if I do +1, can anyone tell me what can be the output? Any guess, guys?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That is correct. So it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what it does basically, it iterates the list and return you the result. Okay, now you guys tell me, if I want to, if this is not only with the number, you can iterate anything. So suppose if I want to display name and email with the by using of hyphen, how do I get it? So you tell me what should be passing into the items. We will pass local array 1. This is my data, which has all the things id, name, and array, right? And in the expression, if you have guys understood this index, you will be able to answer this one. You tell me what I need to do it here. So okay, in if I use local fb item here, fb item. Now tell me what will be the output. This is a local array 1, and these are the 4 data, and we are using within the for each, and we are returning the fb item. So what will be the output?
Display all the out
Yes.
all.
So basically it will display all the items one by one. Okay, so I need to comment this. So basically it will return all the dictionary one by one. You see there it says 4 items and 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? It had displayed one by one. Now I will do dot name. Now you tell me what will it will display.
Names.
It will display all the 4 names one by one. Now here I'll use ampersand. Here I will use ampersand. Okay, and then I will display one hyphen. Now what it will display?
Names hyphen.
Names with the hyphens. And then now you guys tell me, I want to add the emails. What should I be writing here?
FB
Hyphen.
thanks item dot email.
That is correct. So now I get it, right? So this was my desired output. I want to know the name hyphen email. This is what my desire, and then we get this result, right? Understood?
Yeah.
Now here I want to display my list as pen hyphen their type. right? Because if you go to the data, you see this, right? We have something called type and item type, right? So this is what we need to segregate here. So how to do that?
Ravi, one
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
Ravi, you have given that FPL item, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you go to the one for each one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this FPL item from where we are getting it? I mean, what is that FPL
It's not L,
item?
it's not L. It's exclamatory notation. Okay, and that every item is inbuilt function of this for each.
Okay,
Wherever you will use for each, it will be available there within that for each.
okay, okay.
Hmm. Okay, now we need to use for each function here for each. Okay, what will the items for this for each? What will be the items?
RIL inventories.
RI inventories, correct? RI inventories, and then in the expression, what we will be using?
Uh,
We bank
FB bank,
inventory
FB bank item
item.
dot item name. This is what we need, right?
yeah,
And then ampersand, we are appending a text called hyphen, and then FB bank item dot
description item. I mean,
item
item
type,
name. Right.
right? So now we copy this rule and we will pass to the choice labels. Okay, let's click on test. Now we get this information, right? Now we don't need this item list, right? So we will just comment it out or remove it, whatever you want. All right. Now it's clear what user is going to copy, selecting,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, now the quantity. Okay, first of all, the second thing. So we have displayed this local selected item. So we are saving into the local selected item, but if I click on select and blue, we are not able to display here. Look at here, right? So for that, we need a value parameter, and this in the value parameter, we have to pass wherever you are selecting that, saving that information. So we are saving into selected item. That is the thing, you will pass it here. Now you see, whatever you will select, it will stay there. Just to know what you have selected. Okay. Okay. Now second thing is that local selected quantity. All right. Now this is going to be our integer field, and we will save this value in function into the local selected quantity, and we will display into the value by using the value parameter. So we'll say value local selected quantity. All right. We don't need these parameters. So okay. If I type 3, I get it 3. Okay. So we know the item price. What is the item price for this item, right? That is available within the data, right? We know the item price. So it's going to read only 3. So we don't need any save into. We don't need this one. So because it's a read only 3 true, we only need one thing called value. What needs to be displayed, right? So we have we like whatever user has selected, right? Whatever user has selected, I know the index of that function. If I selected, let's say if I select pen blue, I will have the index as 1. If I select copy lining copy, it will have the index as 4, right? Because this function is available at index 4. Okay. So by using this index selected item, we can know the price of that item, aren't we? Getting a point? We
Yeah.
have our index, right? So I'll say index of my what array inventories, and what will be the my parameter in index parameter local selected item, and default parameter is going to be null. So what it will do, if I select now, it is, see, and it is giving the index what is available at the index 4. What I need only the item price, right? So, and the top of that we can use index, and this is going to be my data, and then I'll here say item price and then null and the closing of this index. Any doubt here, guys? How we are displaying this item price dynamically, whatever you are usually selecting? Any doubt?
No doubt.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Now it's we need this item price at this place as well, right? We need this total to get the total count. We need this item price there as well. So let's make it dynamic on click of this item name. Whenever you are selecting, by that time we will calculate this. All right. So what we will do on the save into of local of this item name, we will declare one more variable called local item price. Okay. And then we have one function called abang save. It has two parameters, target and the value. What is my target? The target is, look, please save whatever the calculation you are going to do, please save into item price local variable, and then value will be, we can simply copy this and paste it here, because this is what getting us the value. Okay, using comma here. All right, now instead of doing this calculation here, I will simply pass local item price. Okay, now let's see. Right now it's blank. I'll go and select blue. We get the price. So whenever user is selecting, we are calculating this and we are passing it here. Okay, I'll tell you why we are doing this thing. Now let's go about the total price. The total price that should be get calculated whenever user is selecting the quantity. So when you will select this item, then this quantity. So when user select on quantity, we should be getting a total price. All right. So let's go to that quantity field and do one more save into. So we will have one more variable called local total price. All right. And then here in the quantity, we will say a bank save. That target will be local total price, and then how we will do, we'll say local item price into local selected quantity. Okay, and then we will use this calculation to this field. So we don't have save into, we don't have this thing, read only true will be there. We will only have value parameter, and in the value parameter we will pass this local total price. Okay, something is wrong. So I'm using. Okay. Now if I say, let's click on test to refresh our screen, I'll say please select pen of blue color, item price is giving 25, I'll say 5, and when I click outside, it gave me the total price. Okay, any doubt?
No doubt.
Cool. Okay, then let's keep it here till today, and then we'll continue from the tomorrow.